Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Discriminating Gamer. You know, I'm giving up alcohol for a month. That can't be right. I'm giving up alcohol for a month. I don't drink. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to go ahead and take a look at Warhammer Space Marine, the board game from Warhammer.
We'll get back to the review in just a moment. I want to take a minute to ask you to check out my other channel, that is Cody Carlson, PhD, where we talk about history, books on history, military history. I even post some of my lectures for my classes on there. Please check that out. Please subscribe to that channel. And now, back to the review.
In Warhammer 40k Space Marine from Warhammer, one player takes on the role of a lone Space Marine as he is attempting to battle the other player who takes on the role of a vast horde of Tyranids. Now, this game contains a few different scenarios. You've got a board, which is a mounted board. You've got a ruler for measuring your movement and attacks. You've got some dice. And you go ahead, you put your figures, which you do assemble yourselves. You put your figures on the board depending on what the specific scenario sets up. Now, as you're playing through the scenarios, you're doing different things. Of course, you are moving in... A lot of times there's like special access points where you can get certain advantages if you can control those access points. But you're moving, you are firing ranged weapons, you are charging, meaning you can run directly at someone by measuring the ruler, rolling some dice, and then seeing if that number can get you within 1 inch. If you combine that number, if that can get you within 1 inch of the enemy there, that allows you to attack them. And you're also engaging in melee. Now, you're going ahead, you're rolling dice in this game to determine the hits you get, but you also can roll dice to see if you get saves here as well. You can deflect those hits. So you've got one Space Marine and a horde of Tyranids. And what that means is the Space Marine, his stats are a little souped up. He's a little bit stronger. He can take a little bit more damage. He's got kind of damage tokens that you're going to get rid of, whereas the Tyranids, pretty much they get a hit, they're out of the game. So you go ahead, you engage these two armies, and whoever can fulfill the specific objectives of that scenario wins. Space Marine, the board game. So Space Marine, the board game. So I recently played this, then I also played the introductory set. And this game is quite a bit different from the introductory set in that in the introductory set you had both a full squad of Space Marines and a full thing of Tyranids. Here you just get the one Space Marine but a ton of Tyranids, which I guess is good if you're collecting an army, your army building or something like that. For the casual player though, the problem with this game is just that. Now the idea of one Space Marine taking on a horde of baddies sounds really, really cool. I think that I was really looking forward to playing this one. In practice, however, in the games we played, it kind of did the same thing. Space Marine would come out, he'd get a couple of shots off, and then just the horde was on him. And once the horde was on him, then the game was just literally these die rolls of, okay, he's fighting, they're fighting, he's saving, they're saving. And it was just going back and forth, and occasionally one or two get picked up, but it was just kind of this gradual wearing down of the Space Marine. And so the problem here is there's not a lot in the way of maneuver. Like I say, within a couple of turns, it seems like you're just all in one space, and the Space Marine's just fighting for his life, which thematically is pretty cool, although he always died in the games we played. But the reality is, it's just not a lot of fun. It's not a lot of fun just being in that one space pretty much the whole game. And you can't, there's that thing where you can go to different spaces and get advantages. Well, you can do that maybe once for the Space Marine, right? So that was kind of weak. That was a little upsetting. I was not a big fan of that. Also, too, the data sheets are in the book. I think it's the last page of the book, at least for this one. But you really need player aids. You really need player aids that come out themselves that you can have, that have printed on both sides stats, right? Or at least, it'd be great if you each had one that had your data sheets, your stats, so you knew that, and order of play. That would be helpful. Instead, oof, they give you this. I don't know why. It just says Warhammer on it. Wouldn't it have been better if you had printed this with the data sheet? I think that I would have liked that a lot better. I would have appreciated it instead of having to go into the rule book to find those numbers. I guess they figure once you've gone through it a few times, you've internalized it, maybe you will. But I would have liked a player aid. Also, to the damage tokens and stuff, they don't pop out. There's nothing to pop out like in some of the other Warhammer games. You literally have to cut them out. I was not a fan of that at all. I played a lot of these kind of boxed Warhammer games, and some of them are really, really fun. I mean, really good. And then some of them are really nothing to write home about at all. And this is the latter. I was really disappointed with this one, quite a bit. Now, if you're a real big Space Marine guy, if you're a Warhammer guy, and you want to buy this for all the tyrannage you get and stuff, I can get that. I understand that. I think that's a good idea and a good strategy, depending on cost and stuff. But just for a player, I can't recommend this game. I wanted to. I think it looks cool. I think it's great. But the production, you do have the mounted map, which I like. But the production overall left something to be desired, like I say, with no player aid and having to cut stuff out. And then just the gameplay itself kind of fell flat. So, as I say, can't recommend. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for joining us today on The Discriminating Gamer. As always, we ask you to please leave a comment for us on YouTube, on Board Game Geek, on our Facebook page, or on thediscriminatinggamer.com. We'd ask you to please like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, and follow us on Twitter. And I'd ask you to also check out my other channel, that is Cody Carlson, PhD, where we talk about military history and books on history, fun things like that. Please check that out. Please subscribe. That would mean a lot to me. I'd also ask you to please leave a thumb to this video on Board Game Geek. And if you really do like the channel, I'd ask you to please click on the Super Thanks button here on the YouTube page and leave a contribution. We really appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen, the other day, my company's HR officer, she asked me why I hadn't signed up for the 401k yet. I told her there's no way I can run that fast. Please somebody help me on my feet again, and I don't know where I'm going, and I don't know where I've been. Please somebody help me on the solid ground. It's a long time, and I'll be dying. Once a year I wind up in the band. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to go ahead and take a look at Space Hammer. Space Hammer.